Hey splashers, welcome back to the channel. In today's tutorial we are going to be learning how to make this 3-in-1 bonnet. As you can see, this is the second way I'm styling this bonnet, and the fun thing is you have to use two different colors of a particular fabric. Let's dive in. For this one, I'm going to be using the doll face. These are the doll face, the gold and the black. The black is going to be the main deal because it's going to be the band. You can decide to use a lace fabric, okay, for one part of it. So fold it in a way that when you measure it, you are going to be having up to 15 inches, and then fold it again into 4, just as if you are cutting a 360 degrees flare. So you are going to be marking it in a way that you will have 15 inches all round, okay? You can do 14 and you can do 13. Don't go lower than 13 so that you have a nice result, okay? So after that, you trace it out. Remember, I didn't remove my tape from the top while I was marking it. So opening it up, this is what I have, okay? So we are just going to go ahead and cut the same thing on the other fabric. This other fabric can be a lace, but just make sure it's of different colors, okay? So I'm just going to cut this out and then place them together, right sides facing each other, okay? So that I'm going to be sewing from the wrong side. When you're sewing this, you have to use two different colors of thread, okay? So I'm going to come in by about 3.5 inches and make a curve this way. That is where our band will end, and then we are going to sew around using half an inch from each end of this fabric, okay? Make sure to sew it in a curved way and leave an opening from here about 4 to 3 inches, okay? That opening is where we'll be turning it over from. So this is what we'll have after sewing it, and I went ahead to trim out a little part of it, okay? So this is what we'll have. I'm just going to go ahead and turn it over. This is the curve part. We are going to trim off that place and then give it a little notch so that it can be balanced, okay? You are notching it from the middle. So this is the opening. I didn't sew it, as you can see. So I'm going to notch this sharp edge so that it will turn comfortably, and then notch the middle of this curve and every other place. Notch carefully so as not to rupture it, and then dip your hand from that opening, grab the two piece and bring it out. Easy peasy, okay? You can rewind that to take note of how easy I turned that. So you're going to set this for ironing, and I ironed it out flat. So you can pick where you want to be the front or where you want to be the back, and top stitch this opening. That's why I said you need to have two different types of thread, okay? Gold and black. So you're top stitching it using same color of thread. So after doing that, you're going to get a band, okay? This band is about 60 inches, okay, and the width is about 4 inches. So by the time I sew it using half an inch, I'll be having 3.5 inches. So you can make your own 3.5 inches so that by the time you are done, it will be 3 inches. So fold this into 2, come in by about 2.5. That is where we'll slant it to the beginning there and cut out. You know, it's not going to be straight. Take note, I folded this in 2 so that the two parts will have equal slant, okay? After doing that, fold in 2 and sew around using half an inch, and then leave a little at the middle. So this is what we'll have. I also trimmed it out and left the middle for turning over, okay? I joined mine because the fabric was not long enough. So you're going to turn this over using a scissors, a needle, a picker, or anything. So you're turning it out from each of the ends. Make sure to bring this sharp point out carefully so as not to rupture it, and then you drag it out. Just take note of the method I'm using to turn this over. It's quite an easy one. So you do that for the other side too, and bring it out from that main point. So if you have a straight material, there's no point making it have a joining at the middle. I did this because it won't be enough. So we are going to be folding this into iron and then top stitching using same black thread, okay? This time around, don't add a gold thread. just make sure everything is black. So this is what we have after ironing it out and folding it in. Okay, so the next thing, I'll be marking 1.5 inch from the top all round. Okay, because you know this 3-in-1 bonnet has like a protrusion, so I'm going to be having 1.5 all round and sewing at the top. If you are somebody that can sew very well, you can decide to just use your tape to keep measuring where you are sewing. So this part I told you we are going to be closing up is where I want to close up. So if you don't want to mark this 1.5, you can sew and measure using your tape directly. So see the essence of you using the right color of thread. And by the time you are sewing, you are going to be folding it in. Okay, this is something you have to gauge. Okay, you have to decide, should you be folding using 1.5 or 1, depends on how big or how small you want the pleats to be. Okay, so I just measured what I have for the first pleat, which is 1 inch. So I'm running my pleats using 1 inch, and take note of the direction I'm folding this towards. This direction is quite okay because when I'm sewing I won't have obstruction, but if I turn the other way you might see some little fold ins. I just hope you understand this process, and take note, when I'm folding it you can see it, each line is touching the next line. Hope you understand this. The next line is touching the other line, so it's very important to have accurate sewing. So this is what we'll have after sewing it. You can see the inside, you can see the outside. You can decide where you want to be, the inside or the outside. So this particular person wants the black to be more, that's why I used the black as the band. So after that you cross check what you have as the measurements for your head. Okay, so if it's about 2 or 1 inch more than the measurement of your head, it's fine. But if it's smaller, trust me, you have to lose it and start all over. So after folding it, I'm just going to use the chalk to mark where I have as the middle from the inside and on the outside too. Okay, so that will enable us to be able to fix this band properly. So there's no point marking this one because that line there already indicates that that is the middle, right? So we are going to be placing this on that line and then sewing. There are 2 methods of doing this actually. That first method, or placing it this way after sewing it round and then you raise it up. So let's sew together. Put it on your sewing machine this way, make sure it's that middle. So if yours don't have a join, make sure to mark, do not notch, use a chalk to mark. So since I want the black part to be the visible part, just take note of how I'm going to be doing it. That line we used in doing the pleats will also help us. So placing that middle in the middle will mark the inside. We're going to bring this out 1/2 inch more than that line. Hope you understand. You can decide to sew it that way, but I just discovered this way will be easier. That other way is okay, but you won't be seeing this line and you want to sew on that same line to maintain neatness. So make sure it is 1/2 inch away from the line. Make sure the band is 1/2 inch away from the line, and I started from the middle to end at the side. So you're going to remove this and start from the other end too, okay, to maintain accuracy. And take note, I'm using both black for the up part and for the bobbin. Okay, so just take note of what you're sewing. If you're sewing gold and black, make sure your threads are gold and black. So I just traced it to the other part and then I'm running the other half part of this band. Okay, so make sure to adjust while you are sewing. Make sure to adjust while you are sewing. Okay, so we are done with this. Let's see how it looks like. This is what you should have after sewing. Okay, can you see this? So by the time you raise it up now, you can see that side is neat. You can see the neatness, and you can see the sewing line is still on the same line we used to run that pleat first of all before attaching the band. Okay, so you can wear it this way. I'm going to be showing you how to wear it. This is method 1. You can see how it looks. The gold part is showing more. You can decide to tie the extra band. This is method 2. You can see the band is completely in. You can decide to tie it. And this is method 3. The band is out. This is method 4, which I invented. The band is kind of wrapping the main bonnet. So that's all. Until next time, keep splashing, guys.